Michelle. We
Hello.
are here. We got a very special guest coming up a little later. Randal Kleiser is with us. He's the great director of my second favorite movie of all time. That sounds shady.
It's not shady because everybody knows your first favorite is The Wizard,
of Oz.
Yeah.
And it's beyond.
Yeah.
So, but my second favorite movie of all time is Grease. I could watch that movie anytime during the day. I can watch. If we're on right now, you know what my ass will be doing?
Watching it.
Watching Grease.
You can't change the
It's so
channel.
brilliant. It's so brilliant. I
You
love
cannot.
it. I love it.
And it's always on.
So he's here. He directed so many movies. You know, we'll get into that with him.
Yes.
But you were on tour recently. I heard a story about Pickpocket Kimchi.
Oh my God.
Pickpocket Kimchi.
Yes, and I was actually there. So we were in Copenhagen.
So Kimchi got
was pickpocketed.
Okay.
We were in Copenhagen and we were walking around because all the other girls, I think.
And where is that? In Norway?
Denmark.
In Denmark.
And
why do we Americans always get that mixed up?
Well,
Because
we
it's
don't.
Norwegian.
Those of us who know geography don't.
Is it all Norwegian?
No, Norway's Norwegian. You're thinking of Scandinavia.
Scandinavia.
Yeah.
It's part of Scandinavia.
Well, it's all up in that area. So Denmark, Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, that area. That's Scandinavia area.
Okay.
Denmark.
Yeah.
So we were in Copenhagen, and Kimchi and I said we wanted to separate from the other girls were doing stuff, and we woke up later, whatever it was. We were at the hotel, and I was texting the group, and Kim's like, I want to go get something in town to eat. And I was like, done. Let's go. So Kim and I jump in an Uber.
Are Norwegians known for their food?
No, but we were humans and need to eat.
Yeah, but did we establish that
And we weren't in Norway. We're in Denmark. Norwegians, I think, have pickled herring and stuff.
Denmark. There's something rotten in Denmark.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
And it was me.
Okay.
So we go and find, I was in the mood for Indian food. And
I'm in the mood
for
Indian.
Sagwala. and Kim is a foodie, so Kim is like,
She's down.
She is down for whatevs.
Okay.
She's like, I'll go for Indian food with you. I was like, bet. So Kim and I hook up in the lobby. We go take an Uber to town in Copenhagen. Here's what we didn't know. What we didn't know was that it was a bank holiday, so everything was closed.
Oh.
The only things that were opened in town were restaurants. So we were going to shop and then go eat. No shopping was to be had.
Okay.
So Kimchi and I find on Yelp, which do you Yelp? Do you
I
Yelp?
don't. You're a phone person. I'm not a phone person.
I know. Trust me.
I will go on the computer and look what's up before I go down there, but I'm not going to be on my phone walking around on my phone.
Okay. Well, you can Yelp on the computer too.
Yeah.
Yelp is I wished I came up with the idea. You know what it is. It gives reviews of everything.
Yeah.
Right. So we find the best Indian place in the area. We walk probably about a mile to the place. So we get a little exercise. Beautiful
you walked a mile in your shoes?
In my shoes. Beautiful day. Chilly, but sun was shining. People milling about because it was a bank holiday.
Was it wintertime?
Yeah, it was kind of cold.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're walking and everybody's, doing their thing. A lot of bike riding in that part of the world.
Yes. Yes.
So we go and eat lunch, great lunch. We get out and I see crowded. I see this good-looking guy.
Who would play him?
Like a Bradley Cooper-ish.
Okay.
But not that good-looking, like relax, Michelle.
Sure.
But that kind of guy.
See, I'm not a Bradley Cooper kind
No, but that's the kind of guy, right? I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm completely co-signing with you on that. On the bike, he has sunglasses on, but see-through, so you can see his eyeballs. And I was like, oh, he's cute. Just in passing.
Sure.
But there was a reason why I looked at him, which is oddly enough.
Yeah.
I look at him and I was like, okay, cute. Keep walking. Kim and I are about a block down. Now, Kim had a big, like, Rick Owens type of
flouncy
jacket with a pocket that you would get at Zara.
Yes, got it. I know. Yep.
Black. And she had shorts on and flip-flops and like
in that cold weather?
Yeah, but Kim's a big girl.
Right.
She's always hot.
Okay.
She's one of them. Where I'm the opposite. So we're walking down the street after lunch, talking, blah, blah, blah. I take out my phone. I'm looking at it. All of a sudden, I hear Kim go, no! And I turn around. She had stopped. Now, mind you, Kim's like, what, 6'2", 6'3"? Stopped this bicycle with her two hands, and the front tire is between her legs. So she's holding the handlebars, looking directly at the guy. I go, no! And she starts pushing, and I go, what is going on? She's like, this guy just pickpocketed me. and she stopped him dead in his tracks with like, yeah, like stopped him.
Really?
Kim just came to life, stopped this guy, and the guy goes, fuck you! And he's trying to get through her on the bike, and he couldn't get through her.
Yeah.
And Kim's holding the handlebars. She like turned into fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Uh-huh.
It was like, no! And I was like, what's going on? She's like, he just pickpocketed me. I said, did he get his phone? She's like, no, I'm not letting him go. She felt his hand in her pocket and grabbed his arm and did a fucking, predator moment where she stopped that motherfucker dead in his tracks, grabbed his bike, and he's like yelling at her, and then he left. But she
got it back.
She got it. She got it back.
I love that story. But first of all, let's go back, okay? Because
it was the guy who I saw.
Yes, of
that
course.
was cute.
Yeah, no, you're instinct.
Okay.
That is why you don't walk around looking at your goddamn phone, people.
Right.
I'm telling you right now. You do not take your attention away from the moment.
Correct.
That's why I'm sure that's why he
chose us.
but what's the word? Targeted you guys.
Yeah.
That is why.
Well, the good thing is I didn't have a purse, and neither did Kim. I kept my card and my key somewhere on my body.
That's the other thing. Do not wear Rick Owens knockoffs from Zara because you've got some fashiony big pocket. Bitch, there are predators out there
everywhere.
who are looking for people who do not or are not paying attention.
And Copenhagen is a safe city. So what happened was, just know, you guys, every tourist city, this happens all the time in Paris, notoriously, all the time in Pisa, in parts of Italy. But Kim has one of those phones, like you, that has the wallet in it.
Sure.
Now, you were smart enough and you don't put everything in there.
I don't put anything.
Kim had credit cards. Kim had everything, everything, and he saw that.
Yep.
I had nothing on me but this. I didn't even have this. Like, I had nothing.
Years ago when Joel and I used to travel all over the world, we'd go out and we have a little time somewhere. And this is before smartphones and all that kind of stuff. She would be walking around and she'd have an open map with her going, I think it's this
so
way.
You're screaming tourist.
Screaming, I don't know where I am.
Yes.
I'm disoriented.
Yes.
You do not do that.
No.
It's still a jungle out there.
Yes.
You have to be aware. You have to be present at all times. And not just physically, but what's happening politically in this country right now is due to the fact that people are asleep.
Correct.
They are looking at their TV shows.
Yes.
They're looking at their smartphones. You have to be aware. It's still a jungle out there.
Because you know who wasn't asleep? That guy on the bike.
He was
who
not
was
asleep.
watching Kim look at her phone, close it, put it in her pocket, and said, oh, she got credit cards in there.
Yep.
And he went to take it, and luckily, first of all, those pockets were so deep, it's ballsy that he even attempted that.
Yeah.
He would have to go in there to get it. It wasn't bulging out of a back pocket. He dove in for that shit to the deep end.
Tell me about the moment he gave up.
I was a step ahead, and I didn't turn around because I was just like, the girls were texting, so I was texting back. And I heard Kim go, no. And I turn around, and I see her. So then he goes, fuck you. And she goes, no. Like, she wasn't letting the bike leave.
Good.
She wasn't going to let him go.
Yeah.
And then she grabbed it from his hand.
Right.
He had it. And she grabbed it back. And he's like, fuck you. She goes, no. And she grabs it back. Now, mind you, he was probably 5'9", and she's like 6'2", so she overpowered him. It was such a great moment.
She could have kicked his ass.
Oh, she could have kicked. I was like, don't fuck with a fucking drag queen, bitch. You got the wrong bitch. And I was like, go, Kim. Like, I was like a cheerleader over on the side of the road. I was so proud of her. But at the same time, it was an eye-opening moment of like, because she was kind of shaken up afterward. She was shooketh.
She was shooketh, yeah.
And I
you know
was
what
like,
you'll never see me do? You'll never see me walking down the street looking at a phone. And that's not just to say that I'm better than anyone else.
No,
which of course
I need
am.
it for me. What'd you say?
I know I am very better than... No, that's just a reason why I'm better than you.
But we were in Copenhagen. This was my this was our map. It was my phone, and I had it going.
I would check things out before I left.
Yeah, we did, but that doesn't mean anything. I still need a turn by turn.
I feel very uncomfortable not having my sense, not looking where I'm going. And is that so wrong? No, that's the first rule of being a human is you have to look where you're going.
Right, but there's a difference between face and a map, and what I usually do is put on the directions. It'll say 100 feet, make a left, That's what I do.
No, see, I hate that bitch's voice though. See,
I hate it too, but I have a British man. It helps.
Yeah, even when I'm
you
in
can put an
Uber,
Australian voice on it.
When I'm in an Uber or in a town car, and those people have that voice, the GPS voice on, I'm like, please turn her off, please. It's like, yo ass, your job is a driver, and I'm just going a mile down Hollywood Boulevard and making a right on
wherever
Highland.
Yeah.
You check that shit out before I get in the car. I don't want to hear her saying 100 feet to make a left.
But I can't go anywhere without it. So I understand.
Yes, you can.
A mile.
Yes, you can. You did it for years before
no,
the
but I
smartphone.
didn't. I didn't. I would print out MapQuest.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that?
Well, I don't have to. I have a GPS system.
Well, the concept of learning where you're going to go before you go and going, oh, okay, yeah, oh, and make a right here. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
No.
Then I get in the car and I drive there.
I mean, I disagree. But at the same time, I will say this. Once I've gone somewhere, I don't use it again. Meaning, I know where I am. I can figure it out.
Is due to the breadcrumbs?
Yeah, obviously. Or the popcorn that I left because it's crunchy. So, no. But, you know.
I love that story. I want to see that reenacted on a video.
I did reenact it for them that night at dinner. I did the full role play. And since we're on here.
You had your phone there. You should have filmed it. Use your phone for something good
I
for once.
wasn't thinking. I was literally like, go, Kim! Like, I didn't know what to do except because I didn't know what was happening. Yeah. I didn't know if it was a fan or I didn't know if somebody had hit her with the bike.
Right.
Like, I literally didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
And then when I turned around and saw, I was like, oh, and she goes, I just got pickpocketed. When I saw her grab the phone from him, that's when I had realized. And he took off so fast.
He took off really fast.
So fast. And she was like, shooketh.
Yeah.
So I had to go over and go, you okay, baby? She's like, I can't believe that just happened. Oh my God. I was like, don't worry about it.
Well, I'm just glad that he didn't get away with it.
He did not get away. He was the very opposite of getting away with it. But I was proud of her where she wasn't a victim. She stood up and said, like when you learn in all those self-defense classes, no! She was so that. She was a very that. And I was really proud of her.
Oh my
and then,
goodness.
of course, it was a story to reenact for the entire night.
No, even when I go somewhere, go over to somebody's house and they say, oh, can I take your bag? I'm like, no.
Right.
I'm not leaving my bag with nobody. I'm from New York. I'm not going to leave my bag nowhere.
As we saw on the Emmys, when I was like, you could have left. I would not have taken your shit.
Well,
but I promise I wouldn't have taken your shit. Unless there was something in there that I wanted, and that's a different story.
I'm Scorpio. I'm naturally skeptical.
Scorpio, Virgo
skeptical.
Too. Same thing.
I just don't trust people.
Same. I'm with you. But at the same time, I didn't have a bag. She didn't have a wallet. Like, you don't expect it. These crafty motherfuckers are so good at knowing, oh, you don't need a purse, bitch. I see that you have something there. Yeah. He saw her wallet phone. And so this is a lesson, too. If you use those wallet phones, the ones with the pockets, just know keeping your credit cards, even though that's what they're for, in there, might not be the best idea.
Now, in here, here's my smartphone. I have my bus pass right here.
That's fine.
But it is void. I went downtown to a protest of, the Orange Menace. And
the Orange Menace.
It was so I did it so fast that I made a mistake. In LA, they just try to ruin you. I got the 7-day bus pass.
Yeah.
Which instead of a credit where you have, say, $25.
Like an Oyster card in the UK. So each time you go on the tube, you have X amount of dollars left.
Exactly.
So yours expired.
Mine expired because I went there and I came back. And of course, there's no way to undo that. But at the time you buy the thing, the train is coming. And you're like, oh, shit,
rushing.
Let me just do it.
When you have a Metro pass in New York, because last time I took the train, I had tokens.
Oh shit, girl.
I had tokens, girl. Yeah. The Metro passes were starting to come around, but
I have my Metro pass right here, and I still have. I'll be in New York this weekend.
I'm a token girl. But do you? Can you, like an Oyster card? Can you just re-upping it?
Yep.
I can add money to
this one here. I think I have about $20 on that.
Paper? We haven't even moved to plastic.
That's plastic.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, it feels like it's paper.
You
take the train or the bus?
It's a laminated covered plastic paper.
It's very thin.
Very thin. I take the train in New York,
and
the only bus I catch in New York is the crosstown bus from the West Village to the east or east to the west.
I switched very late in my New York career to buses. I was just so over every train being fucking delayed, broken.
Oh, in the paper just now, they're having a big problem with that right now. I think because the PATH trains derailed recently, so that's backed everything up. And then in the city, I saw a picture in the New York Times the other day where there were so many people on the platform. Like, I've never seen that many people on the platform.
That's what I'm talking about.
Something's happening. I don't know what changed, but something's happening. And then next year, I think 2019 or 28, one of those, the L train is going to stop going to Canarsie.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
This is what I'm saying. This was already starting when I left, which was Two,
I think wasn't Eisenhower?
2002.
Eisenhower.
Me and Mamie, we went to high school together.
Yeah, right.
But at that point, I said, you know what? I'm going to start taking buses. Not that they're any better, but I was starting to get that anxiety too of being on the ground, and it
Right.
was a lot easier for me being above ground. Although some crazy motherfuckers were on them buses too.
Right. But everybody knows Joella, what's your name?
My name's Michelle.
Javelle.
Oh, Javelle.
Yeah. Everybody knows that you are the Rosa Parks of
Which community? Pick one.
Of the drag community.
Yes.
You are the Rosa Parks of
Who
the
did
drag
you
community.
say that was? Who did you say?
I said that girl, that blonde Republican lady.
Ann Coulter.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
And it was beautiful.
She's
what a fucking mess that one
Oh
is.
my God.
Yeah.
What motivates a person to be that? To be shut down, to say no, no, no to everything.
I'll tell you what. Money. So she gets money for being
That's
a
what I
cunt.
think. You know what? You know what? No, those people don't really believe that.
No,
They really.
Katie Hopkins in the
Yeah.
UK is the same way. Ann Coulter here,
Yeah.
even Milo. The reason they do it is they're making headlines and they're getting paid.
That's right.
So the more they do it, I don't know if they necessarily believe it or not believe it, but at the end of the day, because I know with Katie Hopkins, when I was in CBB with her, that's not who she is. But to me, in my mind, you could disagree. It's worse because it's blood money.
Right.
You're getting paid to be a cantankerous asshole.
Yeah.
And you're also putting yourself on the line to be killed.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You're putting yourself in the firing lines.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it for your blood money.
Right. They're preying.
Selling your soul.
They're preying on the fear and ignorance
Yes.
of other assholes.
And that's worse, or at least equal, with actually believing it.
right.
I think it's worse because you're faking the funk.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, so
Hey,
that's the story.
we're gonna have a really special guest coming up
Oh, I'm
right
so
now.
excited about
Oh
this.
my goodness. I just love this guy. I've known him for years and years. He's really lovely. Randal Kleiser is the director of Grease, and we're going to have him on our show right after this break.
Yes.
Hey, Michelle, let's talk about Squarespace.
SpongeBob SquareSpace.
You know why I love Squarespace?
Why?
Because they've taken something that is really had been very confusing and they've turned it into something very easy to navigate. And that's the key word, navigation. If you want to make a website, you got to go to Squarespace, child, because they make it so easy with their simplistic drag and drop platform.
Yes.
I love a drag and drop platform. Now,
Me
when you're
too.
ready to purchase a plan, get 10% off with the offer code RU. That's squarespace.com, offer code RU. We are here, Michelle. We got a very special guest.
Very excited.
We've been trying to get him on the show for a long time,
Yes.
you know? And, I have my own special reasons, which I'm going to tell you about.
Uh-huh.
He is the director, no tea, no shade. He's the director of my second favorite movie of all time. My first is The Wizard of Oz. My second favorite movie of all time. I've seen a lot of films.
Oh, I know.
I've
and
seen
I know them.
I've seen them all.
Yes.
Is Grease.
Yes.
Randal Kleiser is here.
Hello.
Randal Kleiser, my goodness. And not only that, I mean, he's got a long roster of great films. Blue Lagoon.
One of my favorites, along with It's My Party, another one of my favorites.
Yes, and I just saw Summer Lovers just this year for the first time ever because I went to Santorini. Was it this year or last year? I don't remember.
Did you go to
Santorini, yes.
Beautiful.
Now, Randal Kleiser, how many people walk up to you and say, Grease is my favorite film, or my second favorite film of all time?
Most of them say it's my first favorite. But what's strange is that all over the world, people of all ages seem to still like that movie, and it's been 40 years now.
40 years?
Next year, yeah, we're going to have a Paramount's planning some kind of a thing. I'm not quite sure what. We're having meetings about it to see what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But not sure how we're going to celebrate 40
I
years.
did the 25th anniversary on VH1.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
I did the red carpet, and that felt like it was yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And we're already on 40.
Oh,
Yeah,
my goodness.
But it's also one of those movies that when it's on, there's not many, but when it's on, which is a lot, you cannot turn away.
Listen,
I've heard that, yeah.
I will watch it any time of day at any moment.
Bible.
I will watch it at all the times. Now tell me, nowadays directors get points on pictures. They get back in and all that. Did you make that deal when you made this movie?
I had a choice of either having a certain amount of money to direct it or taking a point.
A point?
Yes, 1 point.
Yeah. What did you do?
I took the point.
What told you to take the point?
My
versus the money?
agent, Joel Dean, who unfortunately just passed away, but he was the guy who said, hey, this might work, so you better do that. So I did.
That is great advice. And I got to tell you, we were coming up with guests a list of guests to have on the show,
Mm-hmm.
and on my list was Joel Dean.
Aw.
When did he pass away?
About maybe a month ago.
Really?
Yeah,
How about that?
I know. it's
Because
so
when
sad.
I went to your house for that reading last year, a couple of years ago, whatever, he gave me. It was my first Uber ride. My first Uber ride was to Randal Kleiser's house
Oh,
in
really?
the hills. Yes, and and he lives in a kind of a remote place. So I thought, I'm gonna have to find a ride home from the house.
Yeah.
And it was Joel Dean.
Oh, he took you?
Yeah, and on the way home, Joel Dean told me some great stories about Hollywood.
Mm.
He was everyone's agent.
Oh, yeah. It's Faye Dunaway's and I forget who else.
He
lots
was
of-
Do we need anybody else?
right, exactly. He said he gave Knots Landing her name.
Donna Mills.
Donna Mills.
Yes.
He named her Donna Mills.
Yep.
And I think was he also Michelle Lee's?
Yes, he was. And Bruce Davison and Barbara Rush.
Wow.
And Bruce Davison was in my master's thesis at USC, and thanks to Joel. And then he also got Barbara Rush into it. So I was doing this. I was a nobody who was at USC Film School, making my master's thesis, and I had these stars in my movie, and that's what got the attention of Universal and got me started.
Wow.
And what I'm going to have you get closer to the microphone. What was your first big Hollywood film?
Well, my first job in Hollywood was Marcus Welby, MD.
Love
Oh,
that. With Consuelo.
Yes, I have a story about Consuelo, but are we allowed to curse on this?
Yes.
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 Oh, good. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
She just died, actually.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, Consuelo
Oh,
just
that's
died. Yeah.
sad because my first day on the set, I had never been on a soundstage as a director before, and there was like this 40 men standing around who had been shooting movies for years and years, and I was at Universal Studios filming a close-up of Consuela,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that I had to say out loud in front of this crew of professionals, action and cut. Those were the two things I had to say.
Uh-huh.
So they rolled the camera, and I was so nervous that I combined them, and I said, cunt! And Consuelo said, I've never been so insulted in my life. I turned purple, and the crew was all laughing at me.
Oh, that is hilarious. Now,
First day.
That's a way to break the ice.
it certainly is. Now, Consuela played Marcus Welby, MD's nurse.
That's
his
right.
head- and she was a Latin actress, and she was one of the first lead Latin actresses on a television series,
Mhm.
an hour drama like that. I don't know her real name.
I'll find it out as you guys talk.
Yeah,
Ah,
but
thanks
it's
to Google.
interesting. These kinds of stories are so interesting about Hollywood, and a lot of them get lost with Joel Dean,
Mhm.
and I was really excited to have him on the show.
Have you ever met Michael Black?
No, Michael Black.
Michael Black is a manager who has so many stories that if you brought him in here, he's like at any cocktail party he goes to, he just holds the crowd.
Is he still in the business?
He's still in the business, and he is the perfect guy to have on your show.
I will look him up. Now, Michael Black is
The manager to everybody you ever heard of, including
Really?
I think he managed Betty Davis at one time.
that's
Got great
incredible.
stories about her and everybody. He's got stories about everybody, and they're very funny.
All right, so now I
Okay.
have a few questions
Yeah.
for you about everything, but first I want to start with this last scene in Greece.
Okay,
Okay.
before we get into Greece,
Okay. Yeah.
her name was Elena Verdugo.
Oh,
Elena
Elena
that's right.
Verdugo.
Verdugo. And does it say
Consuelo
when she died?
Lopez.
When did she die? Like 2 weeks ago?
Shall I look?
Yeah, look.
Okay.
Because I feel like I just read about it 2 weeks ago.
She died May 30th.
May 30th.
Wow.
Yes.
She was 92, bless her heart.
Oh my
So
goodness.
she had a good life.
Yeah.
Nice lady.
Now,
All right,
okay.
on to Greece.
On to Greece.
Yes.
Okay, and I have lots of questions.
Shocking.
Now, the scene at the graduation carnival scene,
Yeah.
when all that stuff is happening. Where is that film? Because I see some hills in the background, and for the past 40 years, I've been
wow.
trying to figure out where is that.
Well, if you look carefully, when Rizzo gets off the Ferris wheel and says, "I'm not pregnant," right exactly behind her is the Griffith Park Observatory.
Really?
Yes.
So it's in Griffith Park?
No, it's at John Marshall High School down in Echo Park area,
Uh-huh.
and in the background you can see
So all of that is done. All of that outdoor thing, which is tell me about it, stud. That's
Yeah.
all at John Marshall High School.
In the football field, yeah.
I
Wow.
see.
Yeah.
Okay. And my favorite shot in the movie, and I re-roll it back and all the time. I used to rewind it back when you had to rewind things.
Be kind, rewind.
Yes.
Yes.
It's in the song, it's in the, we go together like
Yeah.
It's at the breakdown where John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, it's an empty frame. And
they jump into it?
They jump into it from some lift somewhere. And she
Right.
goes, oh, my babu do it, bam, 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 with their shoes in their hands. And they run away from the camera. It is I can't tell you how many times I have rewound that. Do you understand why I love that shot? It's completely ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
But you know the shot I'm talking about,
I
Michelle?
do. There's a lot of shots in that film that stick out. The scene where she's, after the whole thing, and she's becoming right before she becomes
You mean
the bad girl.
when she becomes a whore?
Right before
when
she
she becomes
becomes, right before she becomes the whore.
Oh, it's down
When
in
she's
the
sitting,
L.A.
Sandy, you must
Oh, yeah.
find a
Uh-huh.
new.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there, and just the way, the light, everything on her.
Yeah.
Every time that happens, it's always like I sit there, mouth agape.
Yeah.
I love that shot too. There's a lot. There's a lot.
There's a lot. Now, yeah.
Now, he jumped off of a little, I think it was like
An
just
apple
a
bum.
bench. A bench.
Uh-huh.
Jumped off a bench. And
She's
that's all Pat Birch's
Pat Birch, who
choreography.
did
She's so
part
wonderful.
2, who did the sequel.
Really good choreographer.
Yeah, she's an incredible choreographer. In fact, I see things in the movie all the time in the choreography where the dancers, at one point they're sort of walking around like ducks. They're like,
That's,
they're doing the
Yes,
duck thing.
that was her her tribute to the 20 dancers that we had throughout the movie. D1 through 20, we called them. And she wanted to give them a little moment at the end, and that's what that was about, the Charlie Chaplin thing. That was
Yeah.
just a moment for them.
Yeah. When's the last time you saw the film?
Oh, I think I saw it, I don't know. At some festival. They're always dragging me out to festivals.
Do you see things in it every time that you've maybe forgotten about?
I watch the audience mostly because
Uh-huh.
I like to see what triggers them and where they're laughing and all that. So,
Did you get Final Cut?
this is my first movie, so no, I did not get Final Cut. And as a matter of fact, there were things I would have changed that probably would have made it worse,
Like what?
like the title song.
Oh, the Grease, the Bee
Yeah.
Gees.
Bee Gees song.
Yeah.
Come here, let me slap you real
Uh-huh.
quick. Oh my
Well,
God.
we wrote another song that all that was animated to. The whole animated opening was done to a different song.
By Louis St. Louis?
No, it was by Bradford Craig,
Uh-huh.
and it was all about the 50s.
Yeah.
And then they animated all the whole show to that.
Uh-huh.
All the cuts happened on the beats of the song and everything. And at the last minute, Robert Stigwood said, "Hey, we have this Bee Gees song we'd like to put in." I said, "Well, wait, we've animated to this other song." And I said, "Well, let's just slap it together and see what happens." And
Yeah.
so they slapped it together, and that's what you see.
My goodness. And a classic is born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who wrote? Jim Jacobs and Warren Casey wrote
That was written by Barry Gibb.
with that one, but the rest of the score was by
A lot of it was,
Well,
yeah.
a lot of it was from the stage show, but then
Correct.
of course, John Farrar
wrote the additionals.
Well, he wrote "Hopelessly Devoted," which
Yeah.
tell the story of "Hopelessly Devoted" because that was not originally in the film, was it?
No, there were several songs that weren't in the film. That was, when Olivia signed on to do it, she had in her contract a solo,
Mm-hmm.
and the songs that were in the show, there was none that were right for her. So John wrote this song, "Hopelessly Devoted to You," during the production. There was no place, we didn't have any place in the script for it. It was just, here's the song, find a place to put it while we're shooting, which is very unusual for a musical because normally you have everything planned way, way in advance. As a matter of fact, before I started shooting Grease, I met with Robert Wise, who said I shouldn't do it because I didn't have enough prep time.
Robert Wise, of course, from
Sound of Music and West Side Story.
West Side Story, yes.
His advice was don't do this movie
don't do the
Really?
movie at
At
all.
all?
because there was not enough prep time.
How much prep time did you have?
Probably about a couple months, but he said you need a couple years because the way he did movies,
Yeah.
he did. But
Yeah.
anyhow, so we were in the middle of shooting and I get this song and it was on a cassette. I didn't know what it was like, how you listen to a demo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, wow, it sounds it sounds kind of country western to me.
Right, right.
And Olivia said, well, I love it. And I said, well, I guess we'll figure a place for it.
Uh-huh.
And so we thought, well, where can we put it? And then we thought, well, how about between after Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee, if she went out into her backyard maybe. And so the last day of shooting, they quickly built a set in the backyard, and we went and shot it in one shot.
And you tacked it on to the
after.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So
That
we
was
almost
all-
replaced, and this might seem like a novice question, but because the musical has songs that the movie doesn't, I feel like Hopelessly Devoted replaced like Freddie My Love. And
Yes.
and who chooses that song is not going to make it to the movie.
Well, Alan Carr was very instrumental in every aspect of Grease. And, you know, we had Robert Stigwood and we had Bill Oakes, who was a music supervisor. And, you know, there's a big crowd of people all making these decisions. And I'm glad that I was outvoted on the title sequence because,
Yeah.
you know, it was fun to be driving around in 1978 in my
Ford LTD.
it was like, I think it was some kind of convertible listening to, every time I changed the channel there was
It
the
was
song.
on everywhere. It was the number one song. Number one song, Frankie Valli.
Yep.
Brilliant. And so, right, so you, on the last day of shooting, you shot Hopelessly Devoted.
That's right.
You didn't have to come back and do it.
No, it was all planned. But I mean, it was just thrown together very quickly, and they built that set like overnight. I said, well, what about a backyard set? Boom, it was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it's like working at a big studio. It's
Wow.
amazing.
Now, you mentioned Alan Carr, who is the producer of the film. There's a new documentary out about his life. What's it called?
It's called The Fabulous Alan Carr, and it's directed by Jeffrey Schwartz, who did the one on Tab Hunter and a couple other people. And it really captures Alan, his ups and downs, because he had some real ups and real downs.
Well, I remember on the Mike Douglas show, they did a special on Grease before the movie came out.
Wow.
And I think Mike Douglas, a talk show host, brought up the fact that Alan Carr had had his jaws wired shut so that he could lose weight. And he was famous for wearing caftans. I haven't seen...
Let's do that.
I'd love to do that.
Sounds great. To me.
Yeah, and just get an interpreter.
Let's do it.
You
But
know?
guess
And
what?
at the 25th anniversary, I got a chance to interview him.
You're
you did?
kidding?
No, I did. I got a chance to interview him, and he was in
A caftan.
a caftan.
How fabulous.
It made me so happy.
Yeah,
But the big problem was that he then drank milkshakes through the...
through the straw.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you
yeah.
go. That defeats
Right.
the purpose.
What did you know him during the wired shut mouth thing?
I don't think I saw him during that period. But yeah, he struggled with weight his whole life. He even went to Mexico and had surgeries, and he had all kinds of scars. It was very tough.
When did he actually die?
Wow.
I mean, God, this
It's
whole
been a while.
This whole
Yeah.
show is being about who died.
You
Yeah.
guys talk. I'll look that up.
Okay.
Okay, that's better. I can't remember.
Because my brain.
My brain's
Yeah.
gone.
So, all right. So, Alan Carr was the producer, and is he the one who hired you?
Well, yes, but you know, I think John Travolta had a lot to do with it because I had just directed him in Boy in the Plastic
That's
Bottle.
right. I couldn't remember. That was the one that put you on the map.
And by the way,
Mhm.
should be redone. I just talked about this on Twitter literally a month ago.
Really?
Because they're redoing all these things. I feel like that one should be redone. It's
always-
one of my favorites.
You know what? I always wondered when AIDS started to come around why they didn't try that with AIDS. You know, because
Right.
if you're in a bubble like that and you can't get any kind of infections, maybe that would be a way for before all the great meds came along, a way to keep people alive.
Right. And Boy in the Plastic Bubble was a TV movie on ABC. John Travolta was at the height of, well, not the height, he gotten bigger from there, but
Yeah.
he had become a big star on Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah.
And then he got this TV movie with Diana Hyland, who was his girlfriend at the time. She was in that
No,
movie.
actually, she was hired. She was cast as his mother,
Uh-huh.
and then they fell in love.
Oh.
And so at the premiere of Carrie, I think it was,
Yeah, Carrie.
I saw the two of them together. I said, "What are you two doing together?" And they said, "Well, we're going out together." I went, "What?"
Wow.
Alan Carr died in 99.
In 1999.
Yeah.
Did he continue to produce films after that?
Well, yes, he did Grease 2 and You Can't Stop the Music and Where the Boys Are 84.
Right.
So none of them really took off. But then he did have a big success with La Cage aux Folles on Broadway.
That's right.
yes,
He was one of the
yes, yes.
producers
That
of
was
that.
a sort of comeback.
Now, we're going to go to a break real quick. We've got Randal Kleiser, but I want to ask you real quick, why did you not direct Grease too?
I was doing Blue Lagoon.
Blue Lagoon.
I love Blue Lagoon. Oh my God.
We're going to talk all about Blue Lagoon when we come back with Randal Kleiser. Now, Michelle, the Blue Apron is just revolutionized the whole sending food to your house
Food
game.
box subscriptions.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Food boxes? It's so delicious.
And
I know you live for it.
Live for it. It's so easy. I live for it because it's it's fun to cook.
Yeah.
B, the recipes I never would have came up with. C, my kids like it, and that is the thing with Blue Apron. They have the meals that the kids like and the adults like, obviously. But when you're trying to feed 2 teenage girls, you got to give them what they like.
Yeah, plus you live out in the boonies.
Okay, girl.
How far is the nearest grocery store for you?
Okay, there's a Ralph's at the corner. Take it easy. Whole Foods is like 10 minutes away.
Well, no, that's what I was thinking, though. But for a lot of people who live very far from the grocery store, Blue Apron is a lifesaver.
Yes, this absolutely would be a lifesaver for them. I happen to live in civilization, but that's okay. But anyway, Blue Apron, they deliver seasonal recipes along with the pre-portioned ingredients, which matters to me because I don't have to worry about it. Then you have to take a tablespoon out. No, just dump the envelope in there.
It's already
It's all done.
measured.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all done. It's delicious. It's home-cooked meals. They know that when you cook with incredible ingredients, you're going to make incredible meals. So they set the highest quality standards for your community of 150 artisanal suppliers, family-run farms, fisheries, ranchers. Now, listen, I told you about those chili cheese fries coming up. They also have some seared chicken and roasted fall vegetables with caper butter pan sauce.
Ooh, that sounds so good.
Black bean and cheese tortas with roasted broccoli and lime sour cream. How about sweet pepper chicken with bok choy and rice?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
And honey, the picture that they had of that one, I was like, ooh, I don't even eat meat. And I was like, this looks good. New recipes are created weekly, are not repeated within a year. So choose your meals from a variety of recipes or let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. Obviously, you can customize your recipes because they're like, if you open up the app or go on the website, if you don't like the 2 that they choose for you, just go into edit recipes and then you could put other ones in and switch them out.
Okay, all
So
right.
it's really, really great. You guys get $30 off your first meal with free shipping. Free shipping. Your step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe is going to be in there. And the pre-portioned, I was going to say pre-proportioned, but no, that's wrong. Ingredients that Rue gets really happy about can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. Go to blueapron.com/Rue for $30 off your first meal. Blueapron.com/RU. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
Yes. Well, we are back with Randal Kleiser. We're talking about Blue Lagoon
Yes!
right now. You're saying the story that many people figured out that they were gay after they saw,
or straight, or I mean, it was like. It was the movie that made them decide, okay, there's column A and there's column B, which do I like?
Yeah, right, because Brooke Shields, right?
Brooke
You could
Shields
choose-
and Christopher Atkins, and they were both. I mean, I don't want to say in their prime because that's awful, but they were just flawless.
So gorgeous.
Every single, and the way you shot it.
Beautifully shot.
That was Nestor Almendros who got an Oscar nomination for that.
For that film. Beautifully shot. So I know there was obviously a lot of controversy surrounding the movie before, after, and during. It's
Why though? Because
filming.
she was so young.
They
Was that
were
what
young,
it was?
and it was, and it's basically there's incest going on because the kids, their brother and sister.
They're cousins.
No.
cousins.
Yeah, and then they have a baby. And
Right. I love how you said that. They have a baby.
They have a baby. I was Celine Dion from it. Just channeling. I can't help it. I want to
Well,
have a baby.
the book was written in 1895 by an English writer named Henry de Vere Stackpoole.
And back then, being with cousins was natural.
Maybe, I don't know, but the point is that the book was sort of written in an innocent way, but it was that was the story. And the movie was made once in 1946, I think, with Gene Simmons.
Really?
And they took out all the sexuality, most of it, and they added a subplot of some guys coming to the island to force the boy to dive at gunpoint for pearls because they had to fill out the story. But we went back to the original book and tried to explore what it would be like to grow up on an island when you have no information about how to do anything.
And I want people to know that was Gene Simmons, the woman, not Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Now, that would have been an interesting
Very
movie.
interesting, but our listeners need to know
Yes.
that there was a woman actress.
That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
a brilliant.
Jean.
Yes, a brilliant
Yeah.
woman actress, Gene Simmons. Fabulous.
Woman actress.
Now, so with Blue Lagoon, which was an enormous hit, who was the producer on that? Who hired you for that?
Well, actually, that was a movie I started.
Oh, wow.
And even before Grease, I took Blue Lagoon to Alan Carr and said, "This is a movie I want to make." And he said, "Well, why don't you do Grease?" And so, instead, then afterwards I wanted to do that, and it took me a long time to get the money to do it because every studio turned it down because they said nobody wants to watch a movie with just 2 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went round and round and round, and finally Frank Price at Universal, who gave me my first break on Marcus Welby, stepped up to the plate and said, "Okay, I'll fund it." It was a $4 million budget, and we had a lot of casting problems because I had originally Willie Ames and Diane Lane were signed to do it.
Oh,
Wow.
I loved Willie Ames.
Yeah.
And the week before we started shooting, they called up and said, we don't want to do the nudity.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Both of them, they got together and said,
I think so, yeah. And so I suddenly had no cast, and so I had to figure out what to do. I originally wanted Brooke, but Willie was shorter than Brooke, and I didn't think that would work.
Right.
So I immediately signed Brooke, and then tried to find a tall boy.
yeah.
And we flew to New York to look at actors, and because we had a crew waiting in Fiji to start shooting Monday, and it was a Friday.
You are kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding. And so I flew to New York. We pulled out all the tapes that we had, that people that we had seen, and I also was so desperate that I got all my friends and said, "Let's everyone meet, go to Central Park, find any tall blonde boy you can find, and we're gonna meet at Columbus Circle, and we're gonna tape them and see if we can find somebody
Stop
to play."
it.
And so you were traipsing through the rambles,
Well,
looking
unfortunately,
for a leading man.
you know what?
And you found me. No, just
You know
kidding.
what? It was Puerto Rican Day,
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Oh, that's hot.
so there were no blonde boys in the
Very
park.
different movie.
So how did you find him?
Well, we went through the tapes. We found Chris Atkins, who had like a pompadour and a hairstyle that was very 80s.
Uh-huh.
And we said, what if we took his hair and frizzed it and made him like, and that's how it happened. We
Wow.
We
And he got the job 3 days before he was
Yes.
flown to
Uh-huh.
Fiji. That is outrageous.
and yeah, I think he
How do
arrived.
you learn the script? How do you do that?
Well, there was not a lot of dialogue.
Well, true.
But all the investors, I mean, how do you bank on someone who you just, and the chemistry, you don't even know if the chemistry's going to be there?
You know what? Frank Price said to me when I had these problems, I said, "What am I going to do? What am I going to?" They dropped out. What do I do? Frank said, "You know, on Monday when the cameras are rolling, I have confidence that you'll have 2 people in front of it."
Yeah. Right.
That's all you can- that's it.
No, he gave me the. You know, he backed me. You know, it was great. So it was my instinct to somehow make it happen.
And a classic was born. I mean, it was a cultural phenomenon, this movie. And actually, it still holds water today, you know?
Holds water. That's funny.
Yeah, well, yeah, no pun intended there. Yeah. So now, where are you from originally?
I come from Rosemont, Pennsylvania.
Where's that by?
Is that
Radnor
Amish
High.
country?
Sort of. It's near Philadelphia, but you know, I was born.
We
there.
always assume it's Amish country.
Yeah.
If it's not Philadelphia or Scranton.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
was born
Amish.
in Amish country, but
Were
I'm
you?
not Amish. Yeah.
Because is that near, what's that mall that I love? King of Prussia.
Yeah.
King of
I was
Prussia.
going-
Yeah.
Is it
Right.
near there?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Are your family still there?
My parents are in Lancaster, in the Amish country.
That's
and-
Amish country.
That
yeah,
is
they
Amish.
are
Funnel
definitely
cakes for
there.
everyone.
Yeah. And USC brought you out here.
Yeah. I really wanted to go there badly, and when I arrived, it was a time when nobody had ever gone from film school into the movie business. That we were told as students that there's no way we would get in unless we were unless we knew someone or were related to someone.
So what'd they tell you to do?
Well, they said we'll end up doing educational films or industrial films or commercials
Or
something.
porn.
Yeah, porn, right?
Yeah.
But luckily, our whole class it was during the changing of the guard
Uh-huh.
when the old studio system sort of collapsed and well, not collapsed, but it changed to independent movies and movies directed toward young people.
And who was in your class?
Well, my roommate was George Lucas.
What?
Shut up.
That's crazy.
And John Milius and John Carpenter and Caleb Deschanel and Matt Robinson, Hal Barwood.
These are huge names.
Yes.
Everybody went on to do really good stuff. It was an amazing class, yeah.
And I guess, did you guys ever have a reunion and say, hey, look at us?
Yeah, when Star Wars came out, I had a party for George at my house, and everybody came back. And
Did you serve Obi-Wan cannolis? Sorry.
that was fast.
Thank you.
That was very
That's
fast.
why I make the big bucks, Randall.
My goodness, that is really crazy. Now, going to USC, did you actually learn the fundamentals of...
Absolutely, yes. We had great teachers, really, really wonderful teachers. My favorite was Nina Fosh.
Oh, Nina Foster, the casting director.
No, Nina.
Oh, the actress,
yes.
from American in Paris and Mahogany.
Oh yeah, and also the Ten Commandments. My favorite movie.
She plays Ruth. No,
she plays Bithia.
Yes,
the
you
mother
know
of
that
Moses.
my 15-year-old daughter, when she was 6, was obsessed with the Ten Commandments.
Oh, I am too.
Couldn't find it anywhere. Still to this day, watches.
What?
I had to find a bootleg copy of a DVD
Uh-huh.
on eBay because they didn't have it. They didn't, and it didn't. It only ran like on Easter or whatever they run it.
Right.
She still watches.
Oh, it's lovely.
Look, but how does a 6-year-old connect? She connected with the Rocky Horror Picture Show and the Ten Commandments. You could not be more polar opposite. There was something about both of those that spoke to her.
Maybe she's like Joan of Arc or something.
Maybe.
Maybe she's the Song of Bernadette.
Maybe she is, but I understand that. I mean, we brought it up. But.
See, I'm the same way though, Michelle, but I'm that way about Biggie Smalls' The 10 Crack Commandments.
I'm on that too.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Rule number 2, don't get high on your own supply.
Amen.
That's right.
But Nina was the best teacher that I ever had. I learned everything from her, and so much so that I tried to get her to record her class, and we did. George put up money to film 15 weeks of her class, and it's now on a DVD and a website. Nina,
You're kidding.
Oh, so people can buy it.
Yeah, NinaFoshProject.com.
How do you spell Fosh?
Foch, and it's really the best teaching tool for actors and directors that I know of. I think I'm very proud that we got to record her.
And so obviously she's a great actress, and that makes sense. But how did that benefit a director?
Well, she studied with Lee Strasberg and Stella Adler, and she was directed by Vincent Minnelli and Otto Preminger and all these people. So she was extremely smart. She put it all together into her own way of teaching. And she did it from the point of view of the actor and the director, and all about partnering, even down to things that you do the night before. One of her things was the night before you start shooting as a director, you think about the next day's work. Do not make love and then think about it. If you want to make love, do it first, then think about it. Things like very, very, the practical stuff, the things about the 10-minute nap during lunch and how you set an alarm so that the AD, not thinking that you're worried about the AD forgetting, all kinds of little tips like that, in addition to how you direct actors.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And you've directed some of the greatest actors in Hollywood. It's kind of crazy. Did you ever work with Nina Fosh?
Oh, yeah. I got her on a couple projects, and it was so exciting to be directing my teacher.
I bet.
Yeah. But my favorite actor I ever worked with was Sir John Gielgud.
Ooh, what'd you work with him on?
It was a movie called Getting It Right. It was a very funny movie that was sort of like Morgan Alfie Darling from the 60s, 60s movie. I found a novel that was like those, and I got to go and shoot with all English actors, Helena Bonham Carter and Lynn Redgrave. And
Wow.
It was great. And it's a very, it's hard to find, but Getting It Right, one of my favorites.
So now, of course, you talked about Nina Fosh giving you a great foundation to start your career with. Now, if you were in that same position, what advice do you have for directors today, aside from getting the Nina Fosh DVD, which I guess you can get on Amazon?
Yes, on Amazon, or
what's it called again?
Well, the Nina Fosh course for filmmakers and actors, but I think NinaFoshProject.com is the best place to see it, because you can get like an online version too.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
so what advice do you have for people who want to direct Olivia Newton-John turning into a prostitute?
Exactly.
I think a lot of kids are already doing it, and that is to make shorts with their iPhones and post them on YouTube. And then my advice always is to make a card with their picture on it and their YouTube channel or their website, and give that card to anybody they think can help them.
Right.
Because that way, most people can, everybody has a way to get to the internet, and you can see these streaming shorts.
Does not having a gag reflex help you in Hollywood?
Got me here.
That's a legend that I guess people say. I've never seen it really work. I think that's a lot of
malarkey.
Malarkey.
Yes.
Good one, yeah.
We're going to go to a break in a minute, but I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to go back to Greece for just a minute.
Oh, you do? Why would you ever want to do that?
Well, but the part of the reason this movie is so iconic and so much fun to watch is that for lovers of the irreverent, it's got the movie is filled with wink, wink, nudge, nudge the whole time. Who's responsible for that element and getting it so right?
Well, I think a combination of Alan and Bronte and me.
Who's Bronte?
Bronte was the guy who wrote the original script, wrote the screenplay adaptation.
I see.
And he threw a lot of that stuff in. But things like With Relish, that was one of mine.
Yes.
That
yes.
was one of mine.
And what's the Patty Simcock line? That is the Patty Simcock line.
No, that was Rizzo said that.
Oh no, right. The Patty Simcock line is it's the very most, and the other one is to say the very least.
Yes.
You know that?
There's a lot of
And,
those.
and our
much
casting
of that.
director Joel Thurm came up with the worst reputation on Cha Cha. You know, that was,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that.
yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right,
And
we're
then,
gonna
of course, Eve Arden, Dodie Goodman. I mean, these.
Oh man,
we-
they were good.
it goes on
Yes,
and on.
yes.
I was explaining to someone just the other day about when I'm on Drag Race, I'm doing a combination of Faye Dunaway in Mommy Dearest and Eve Arden
Oh, how
because of the
funny.
way she articulates.
Yes.
That when some of the lines I say on Drag Race, I'm actually doing Eve Arden. I'm doing it right now.
But Eve Arden, I also, and I don't know what generationally who was first, but B. Arthur is also
Like her.
very Eve Arden.
right.
I grew up watching the what was the name?
I Married Joan. No,
No, it was
the Eve Arden show. Our Miss Brooks.
That's it.
Yeah.
Where she played the teacher.
Yes.
And then we made her the principal.
Yes.
So brilliant. She's
Brilliant.
So brilliant.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. We've got Randal Kleiser here, and we got lots to talk about. Hey, Michelle, let's talk about Squarespace.
Okay.
You know, we get so many great emails at RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com about those beautiful Squarespace websites. The gorgeous kids out there who listen to our podcast are making their websites with Squarespace and sending us letters talking about it. It's brilliant.
Yep. Can I read one?
Please do.
Great. So you guys can keep sending them to RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com. That's RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com. Tell us about your Squarespace website. This one today says, "Hi, Ru and Michelle. My name is Josh. I'm a huge fan of What's the Tea, Deadly Manners, and RuPaul's Drag Race." Thank you for the plug there, John.
Yeah.
I was constantly hearing how great Squarespace is, so I decided to check it out. After easily navigating through the website, I encouraged my boyfriend to use Squarespace to create a website to showcase himself and his art. His website is henryvolmecki.com. Henry Volmecki, VOELLMECKE.com. Squarespace has made it easy and affordable for him to create his own unique website. Thank you guys so much for letting us know about Squarespace. Love yourself, Josh Gutierrez.
Oh, that's very sweet. Now, guys, when you go to Squarespace, you can get a free trial with no credit card required just by going to squarespace.com. And when you're blown away and ready to confirm a plan, use the offer code RU to get 10% off. It's a great, great thing. Go there right now, why don't ya? We are back with Randal Kleiser. We're talking about the movie Grease and Blue Lagoon. He's the director of all these classic films, Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Which, you know, we didn't even talk about that before Randal came in.
Right.
Because that was really an obsession of mine. And was that
What
it an
kind of an
after-school
obsession?
special, or was it a
ABC.
It was
TV?
ABC
Movie.
Movie
Okay.
of the Week,
Movie of the
yes.
week,
When they used to show them at night?
Yes.
Well, John Travolta, like we touched on earlier, was at the height of his career. But I remember seeing
He was at the
it.
beginning of the height. I mean, he was a
Let's
phenomenon.
let's not say height. Let's say hype.
Yeah.
Because Vinnie Barbarino was taking over
Right.
the world.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing it, and I'm 48 now, so when I was a baby when it came out, but
76, right? Yeah.
all the kids were talking about it. It was an event. I think that's why that sticks with me a lot. Grease is iconic, but The Boy in the Plastic Bubble was an event
Right.
that. And remember those movies? The movie of the weeks were always in. I miss that.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. Because there was what was that one about Jennifer, Portrait of a Teenage Alcoholic?
There was that
I
one.
It was Jenny. It was Jenny.
I did Dawn, Portrait of a Teenage Runaway.
Oh, you did. That's oh my goodness.
Maybe we're combining
You
them.
directed that?
Yes.
Dawn, Portrait of a Teenage with
That's
Eve
right.
Plum.
Eve Plum, yes.
Oh.
And then there
my-
was the Ted Danson one where he touched the kid.
Oh yeah, child molesting.
Yes.
Well,
so
I-
all
Ted
those.
Danson did
Yes,
that?
and I hated him. I would not watch. I hated him
because he's a
because
child toucher.
yes, because when I saw it, I was young,
Mm-hmm.
and I associated the actor with
Mm-hmm.
the creeper.
All right.
Who hired you to do these TV movies?
Well, Doug Doug someone, I can't remember his
Uh-huh.
name. Leonard Goldberg.
Oh yes,
That was-
who was partners with
Yeah.
Aaron Spelling.
That's right. I did a lot for them. I did Starsky and Hutch and the Rookies and let's see, a couple more.
So you cut your teeth on television.
Episodic, and then did TV movies. Yeah, The Gathering I did with Ed Asner, Christmas special.
That was a
Wow.
big movie.
Yeah, that was
Who was it? Who was the
Maureen
woman?
Stapleton.
That's
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
What a genius that woman was.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Maureen Stapleton.
Uh-huh.
She won the Oscar for Interiors. Woody Allen, probably. It was just yeah.
Correct. And
Yeah.
Jean Stapleton was her sis.
I don't think they
cousin.
were related.
No, I feel like they were.
I don't know, but I know that she loved to drink.
She
And-
did.
yeah. And she would, even if she was really, really high or drunk, no, not high, but she would come often completely hungover.
Uh-huh.
And she'd be like, oh, fuck. And then we roll the camera, boom, she'd go right into the
Wow.
exact moment and do the scene perfectly. And then when I'd say cut, she'd go back to, oh, I got the worst headache. I
What
mean,
do you think? What do you think that is? Is it technique? Is it
Yeah.
training? What is
Yeah,
that?
I think it is technique and training. I mean, if you take your career seriously, then these things that pop up that are obstacles, you just push away and go back to your original training. I'm sure you've done on Drag Race moments when you didn't feel like doing it.
Never. What are you talking about?
And
And
you
you're
have
right,
a
they weren't
headache,
really-
or you're not feeling good, or you have a stomach flu.
Sure, yeah, but you get through it. 20-something years ago, I did this movie called Tu Wong Fu, and I remember I didn't have any scenes with Stockard Channing. I was always a fan of hers, but I think on the day we came in to do ADR and record voices, overdub voices, she walked into the director's office where I was, and I turned around and I saw her. I said, "Oh my God, hey Riz, this year we're gonna rule the school."
Yes.
She gave me the dirtiest look.
What? Really? I can't believe it.
No, because I'd worked with her many times
Not a
since
pink
then.
lady.
And yes, yeah. But she's very serious. You know, she's Upper East Side.
Yeah.
She's a very
She come from
she's
money?
Park Avenue. She's Park Avenue.
Oh.
Yeah, she does come from money.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so I don't did you find the actors do you think some of the actors may have been not embarrassed but
But felt like
sort
they
of-
were above it?
I don't think so, because you know what? I remember at the 20th screening of Grease at Grauman's Chinese Theater, when we went back there, I was sitting opposite Stockard, and I looked over at her during her number, There Are Worse Things I Could
Oh
Do.
yes.
And I looked at her and I saw tears in her eyes.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's
she was.
one of the best songs
It's a
ever written.
poignant
Yeah.
song.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really and
So, I mean, she can't be that much putting it down.
yeah, I'm sure she wasn't. I don't know what was up with her. I mean, I've known her for many years.
Yeah.
We actually did several TV movies together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so many stars in that film. Who was the casting director?
That was Joel Thurm.
Joel Thurm.
A lot of Joels.
Yeah, a lot of Joels.
But he also came up with, like I said, that wonderful line with the worst reputation from Denver.
yeah.
And he was great. He and Alan and I were trying to think of people we knew from our childhoods watching TV in the 50s.
Yeah.
And try to put them in the movies, like Sid Caesar
Sure.
and Dodie Goodman. And
I thought Sid Caesar was so
Brilliant.
sexy.
Okay, what?
No,
Really?
no, really, no. I always
In Greece
have.
or just in general?
In general, I thought he was sexy in Greece, and I thought he was
Really?
sexy when I was a kid watching him on television.
Well, he was, you know what it is with you in particular is talent. And talent is sexy.
I do
Yeah.
love the consciousness. I do love the consciousness. I love all that
He
stuff.
was a
But
genius.
do I need to apologize for why I just think he's sexy?
Why would you have to apologize? No.
Because he's not the he's not the what people would think of as, oh my God, look at that hunk. But he's funny. He lived to about 92, didn't he?
Yeah.
They all did because they didn't have GMOs and all the bullshit. That's
Well,
out there
yes,
now.
of course.
But anyway,
Yeah.
you never have to apologize. I like weird-looking, non-traditional people too.
Yeah.
Never apologize. That's
Okay.
what makes you who you are.
Okay.
You love Sid Caesar
I love Sid Caesar.
and Caesar salad.
Yeah, it was Sid Caesar who said, if you have a punchline, always put a ka or a cha in it. Like, if you have a punchline, choose a word like Shaka Khan.
Correct.
It's always going to be
And after
funny.
him was
The
George
cave.
Carlin went with that theory too.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
So now, I know that we're about to wrap it up, but you also had this interactive project that you
reality,
were working on.
yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Defrost, and it should be coming out. I don't know exactly when. We've been working on we shot in 5 days, and we have 2 years of post.
Wow.
Because this is a new technology of virtual reality where you put on glasses and you look around, you're inside the movie, and we got my friend Bruce Davison was in it, and Veronica Cartwright from Alien.
One of the most prolific actresses
I
ever.
love her.
She was her sister was in Lost in Space,
Yep.
but Veronica was also a child actor in all of these movies, and she continues to work today. You know, in she's been in, I think, both Invasion of the Body Snatchers. She was in the 1978 one. Scary as hell. Yeah. She's in the 1978 version.
What's his Kiefer Sutherland's father? What's his name?
Donald Sutherland. Yes.
Right.
And then she's also in the Nicki Kidman, BMX Bandits. Nicki Kidman's version, Invasion. She plays a role in that.
And we have Harry Hamlin, and we have Carl Weathers are all in
wow.
this show.
Apollo Creed.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's produced by and starring Tana Frederick, who's the wife of Henry Jaglom.
Yes. How do you say his name again?
Henry Jaglom.
Harry Jaglom.
Henry
Jaglom. I see his billboards on Sunset Boulevard.
Tana's a wonderful actress, and she helped me with this project.
When do you think it's going to be ready for?
Well, we're hoping around October. It's going to hopefully be finished. We're working daily on it, but it's so complicated because we're doing 3D, 360, and visual effects and set extensions and CGI and everything. It's a little bit more. I pushed too far, I think.
No
such thing.
The technology was not quite ready for what we tried to do, but we're making it happen.
I love that. And in the meantime, though, people can go to the website.
Defrostvr.com, yeah.
Say it again for me.
Defrostvr.com.
VR like virtual reality.
Oh, virtual reality.
Yeah.
Defrostvr.com.
Oh, you're articulating like Eve Arden.
Eve Arden, thank you very much. The best compliment anyone can give me. No, we're gonna say goodbye, but my other favorite, she says, aside from athletic supporter, she says, when was it Sid Caesar who says, we're gonna kick their butts, and we're gonna get them, and we're gonna tear them, and we're gonna do the thing, and we're gonna ring that victory bell like we've always wanted to. I love that.
Gets you every time.
I can watch Grease at any time. Yep. Well, my number one movie, of course, is Wizard of Oz. That's my number one. That's. But
I would say Mahogany's number 3 for you.
Well, it's up there. You know, it's Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. It's Mommy Dearest.
Yeah.
It's Auntie Mame.
So for 3, it's a bottleneck.
It's a bottleneck.
Okay. Baby Jane up there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
All about
Mommy Dearest is better than Baby Jane.
Yeah, but see, I like the irreverence. I always go straight to the irreverence because that's what makes life interesting to me. That's why Grease is so funny, and that's why I can watch it at all times. It's got the music. Oh, and the template that the movie is set at. You know what the template is. It's a high school movie. You know it's going to end at graduation, but what happens in between there and the pacing of it,
it's true,
allows you to not get bogged down in all the other stuff and enjoy what's happening.
Because in a lot of movies, and a lot of times musicals, but I'm going to use one of my favorite holiday movies, which is Elf. At some point in it, brilliantly done. Will Ferrell's a genius, and
John Favreau, the director.
John Favreau, amazing.
Wow.
Bob Newhart is like, but that's not the point. Besides the point, the point is that movie starts so strong for the first hour, and then it drops, and you get lost. That never happens in Grease, and it happens in so many movies that you love. But then there's some time where you can go, I can go to the bathroom here. I can go get a cup of coffee here.
Sure.
Never, ever happens once in Greece.
Wow.
Well, job well done.
Thank you so much.
We will check you out.
We
will check you out at defrostvr.com.
Yes.
And we're gonna have you back to talk more about stuff.
Good.
There was so much stuff I wanted to talk to you about, but I never got around to it because I was doing Grease stuff the whole time.
Right.
No, we did more than Grease. We did a lot.
I'll be back.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you, Arnold.
Well, thank you, Randal Kleiser. Okay. Thank you, Michelle.
Yes,
I'll see you next time, my love.
You know it.
And until then, we're not only gonna rule the school, We're going to do other stuff too, but anyway.
And I'm not PG.
And not PG.
Pass it on, okay?
Pass it on.
All right.
It's
All
great.
right.
It's great to talk to you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, baby. Bye, Michelle.
Bye, baby. Bye.
Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Amen.